Yo guys, I'm back once again for another DVD review, and this time it's of Flic. Flic, translated English, A Cop. Um, this is a French film directed by the one and only Jean-Pierre Melville, released back in 1972. Yeah, this is right. So this film is about four Parisian gangsters. Basically, they like bank rob. Guys who rob banks, rob wherever there's money, and then you have this cop played by one and only Alain Delon. Um, he doesn't, he's one of those. He goes when he goes after his target, he's on. So that this film, is basically a heist film with cool gangsters and a cool cop. So this film is directed by Jean-Pierre Melville. Now Melville is part of the French new wave film movement, along with Jean-Luc Godard and some others, which started I think around the 50s. Awesome French films. They were, you don't get them like that anymore. From a bit like the Japanese around that time, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 50s, the 60s, and some part of the 70s. The French made some awesome films, but Jean-Pierre Melville, he he directed Les Delous, Les Samouraïs, Les Cercles Rouges, and a few other films, all cool, all brilliant. He didn't really make a bad film, to be honest with you. He did make some really good films, but he was part of the French new wave movement, film movement, with Jean-Luc Godard, who directed Breathless, and I'm trying to think, a Band Aid apart, which Tarantino was inspired by. But so Melville, this here Flic was his last film. He died, I think, suddenly, just shortly after. This was his last film. And the other thing was, he only made like 4 films in color as well, which were Les Samouraïs was the first one. Then it was Army. It was like a World War film, because he was I can't remember what it's called now. But anyway, I'll put it up in a minute. And the other one was Les Cercles Rouges, masterpiece, with Alain Delon, same guy in this. And the last film was this one. And I'd like to talk about Jean-Pierre Melville inspired. He was the inspiration for John Woo, definitely Michael Mann. Jim Jarmusch made Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai. He definitely was inspired by Les Samurai, which I personally believe he sort of made. That's where he got the idea for Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai. And John Woo, if you watch John Woo's characters in his films, the coolness, the cool criminals, he was definitely inspired by Jean-Pierre Melville's style, and definitely Michael Mann. When you watch Heat, Heat and Thief, the 2 films by Michael Mann. Thief was starring James Caan, I think 1980 or 81 that was released. But when you watch that was definitely then inspired by this film. Right, I'll just go over the cast. So Alain Delon is a regular collaborator with Jean-Pierre. He made, apart from, I think he made like 3 or 4 films with him. He was regular up until this one. He's regular. He's a top, French star for years. In the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. He was like the De Niro of France. And also you have Richard Crenna. Richard Crenna, you remember from the Rambo films. John Rambo, Sylvester Stallone's Colonel Trotman, and Catherine Deneuve. She's famous French actress. She came in some of American films. So, and then you have regular actors that Jean-Pierre Melville liked using in his film. So the other thing I want to talk about is cinematography on Flic. It has this cool sort of bluish tint throughout the film, which is pretty cool, which is unique. He used that, I think, in Le Cercle Rouge, and Les Samurai look quite similar, but it's quite nice. It's quite similar to this cover, actually. I think that's why they Anchor Bay. If you look at this, it has this coolish. It's similar to this sort of thing. I think that's why they made the front DVD cover like that. He has this cool tint, and I believe, and when you watch Thief, Michael Mann's Thief, I think it has a similar sort of photography to this. I think Michael Mann was inspired by it, but it is a nice for new filmmakers, for people who are making films. If you want to if you don't want that digital look, if you want something different, you can always try watching this film. This is a good film to watch. If you're learning filmmaking, if you want to, the cinema photography is awesome. Right, just talk about this DVD. Now this DVD is from the early days. This is by Anchor Bay. Anchor Bay were, like today you got Arrow, Kino Lorber. Anchor Bay were the guys, along with Criterion. They brought hard to get films, stuff that was really bad. The VHS days didn't get any respect, and they sort of and they brought good stuff to DVD. Limited edition stuff, cool collectors cases. You would get cool stuff in there, and they brought loads of stuff. I got a lot of their collection, but this was one of them, and this is so Anchor Bay done this back in the days. I'll just go over. So it's got this cool Alan Taylor on the front. It's got the robbery scene from the opening robbery, which is pretty cool. If you look, it's got the synopsis. So here it tells you. So this is a anamorphic version, so there's non-anamorphics, so you don't have to zoom in anything. So it's in French, you get English subtitles. Anchor Bay, yeah, and just open it up. So when you open it, obviously you've got the disc here, nice cool, tint on the disc, and just pull this out. So you get this poster art from the film, as you can see there. And in the back you get the chapter selection. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So this disc here is very hard to get hold of. I believe now you can try on eBay. You can check it out. You could probably still get it somewhere. Someone probably selling on eBay, but it is very hard to get hold of. It is out on Blu-ray here in the UK. This is a Region 1 American version. So if you do get this, remember you have to have a multi-region player. But if you can get this here, a part of the Jean-Pierre Melville collection by Studio Canal, I believe, the Blu-ray, and you can also get it in the US. I think Kino Lorber recently released it on Blu-ray. But apparently the Blu-ray is not that good. It hasn't got good reviews. I'll put the links to all of them at the bottom. You can check it out, to the reviews, and I think that's the only version you can get. But here you can get in the UK. You can get in Blu-ray, but I would recommend trying to get the DVD. I'm sure you can get it in the UK, but you could try to get this one, the Anchor Bay one, which is quite cool. Probably the best cover art if you want collector stuff. But this print is good. It hasn't been like digitally. It doesn't. I've seen some of the Blu-ray. This doesn't seem that much of a difference. This is a good print. It looks good on my 4K 65 Sony TV. So worth getting if you're a Jean-Pierre. If you haven't seen Jean-Pierre Melville, if you want to try it, older films, you don't try it. French New Wave. They are cool, awesome films to watch. You will definitely know when you watch directors, Tarantino, Michael Mann, John Woo. You will know where they got the inspiration from, especially Jean-Pierre Melville. It's a shame you don't really get films like that from France anymore, because I do really like the French films from that era. They were different, This is a very stylish film, the stylistic film, along with Les Samurai, and this was his last film. So try to watch it. It's a good film. It has some good action scenes, good heist movie. Yeah, check it out, please. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Peace.